Matching hundreds. I'm Jonathan Coachman. You're tuned in to the NFL.
Thank you, Coach. From beautiful South Florida, there's a look at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Tonight, Week 15 begins with a great Thursday night matchup between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Miami Dolphins. It's the final 3 weeks of the season. Still plenty to play for here as we're underway in Week 15. This is taken at his 4. And he'll take this across the 25, a couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. First carry for James Conner, and he powers his way up past the 30. Call it a gain of 4 on first, and that'll make it second down. Time to feature the offensive starters, and our first chance to get a look at Parker.
Devontae Parker came out of Louisville with a guy who was known as a mature receiver. Runs routes really well, but the best part of his game, he'll jump over you at the end of a route and go get the football.
Here we go.
Now a second down throw for Cousins. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. That catch good for 5. It's third down. A look there at the defensive starters for Cincinnati. They really played well a week ago in that win over the Jets.
And I'm eager to see the game plan and trying to attack them this week, because when you take it away 4 times through interceptions, do you now decide that I can't throw the ball against this team and try and run it like crazy? Or do you challenge them? This is going to be fun.
On third down, that's Conner. And he's got the first down as he's up to the 45-yard line. It's a 9-yard gain, and it keeps the drive moving. Defense had a chance to get off the field here in the opening drive, couldn't do it.
I know that we go into these meetings with coaches, and sometimes maybe we can get, a little bit numb because they're always going to talk about how important third down is, aren't they? Offense and defense. In this case, one capitalized, and the others, you said, had a chance to get off the field and didn't get it done.
And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up second down.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It was way too tight, unable to find anyone open.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on first down. They'll run it now out of the gun. And a minimal gain here as he's up to about the 47-yard line. Jadeveon Clowney there on the stop.
But we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
Here's Cousins going deep here for Parker. And a shot taken on third down, unsuccessful. Fourth down now.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice, getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
Carry for the former Oklahoma Sooner, Joe Mixon. And he'll be out of bounds right at the 40.
Illegal block in the back. Offense.
So that one will be accepted.
Still first down.
A handoff, running left, Mixon. And he's going to lose yardage here. Back to his own 18. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down.
Nice play right there to stop him behind the line, but I want to see how this defense continues to play him here in the first half.
Yeah, we know. You know better than I. He has the ability to take over a game, so what do you do?
Yeah, I think you have to make sure that you bottle him in at varying levels, because if you crowd everyone to the line of scrimmage, if he breaks through, there's nothing but room to run. Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL, so when they're that high powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20, because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored, you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
And I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace.
The 21 yards there as they convert on third.
Nice job, nice patience right there. Put him on the right side, let him work his way across, put the ball in his hands, and let him work his way upfield with a catch.
Throwing on first down, Finley. To the left side here for Eifert. And the play goes nowhere. Losing yardage back near the 40 at the 39. It'll be a loss of a yard, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11.
Well, that was a simple throw and catch, but even with that completion, 0 yards gained, so they're behind schedule on down and distance.
I think they were hoping to get it to him. He could make a man or two miss, but that window closed quickly. That pass play wound up for negative yardage, so here's 2nd and 11. Operating from the gun, Finley. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. A really good pickup of 28 yards.
The goal for any offense versus a zone defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete.
Even without a ton of pressure in his face, it just shows how difficult it is to pick apart his own defense. Those guys are sitting back, and they're not playing receivers as much as they're playing the eyes of the quarterback when he delivers the ball.
Now they'll run it on the toss. Oh, nice spin.
Oh, that brought back bad memories.
Working his way for a gain of 7 to the 26. And he now can wear the crown for the best ball carrier in a single season.
And think of who he has passed to get here. And being able to stay healthy, get enough carries, get great support from his offensive line and receivers blocking for him. But best of all, this is one talented individual that now has the record.
They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. Quite the opening drive march they're on right now.
It looks a lot like what we saw in practice prior to the game, doesn't it? You know, because on that last big practice beforehand, you go through your offensive script. You go through your play calling. You go through all the step and establish things, and it looks like it's going.
And he'll take this into the end zone for a Bengal TD. Tyler Eifert, his 4th touchdown on the year. And the Bengals are going to take a first-quarter lead. One of the keys to their long winning streak has been scoring first. An ideal drive right there, getting the first 6 points of the ball game.
Do you go back to our meeting with the offensive coordinator? Remember what he told us?
Absolutely.
With some teams, I script to probe in the early part of the game. Other teams I script to attack. They've been in attack mode for these ball games and continue that in this one.
And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard line. So now here come the Dolphins, and hoping to do better than they did their last possession when they punted the football.
Appeal to the vanity of your offensive line. Tell them that they control your fate. Leverage guys. Win the line of scrimmage. If you do that, you start to win first down. You win second down. And guess what? You start accumulating first downs, and that's what they need in order to not punt the ball again.
He'll wind up losing a yard on the play, and it'll be 2nd and 11.
Well, you had to punt on your first drive, and on the first play of the second drive, you end up going backwards. I would dare say they need something good to happen right here, right now.
They run with Connor. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. It'll go as a loss of a yard, and it'll set up 3rd down.
And the big fella stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling him has to be a priority because you can't move up to the next level if you don't take care of him first.
To throw is Cousins. That's caught by the big tight end, Dallas Goedert. And he's got the first down yardage before being taken down at midfield. That one goes for 24 yards.
There's a completion to the tight end, and I think that we're looking at something out of central casting, frankly.
Absolutely.
I mean,
size, the hands.
Speed. I mean, can flat out run. You put that whole package together, you light up the eyes of an offensive coordinator, don't you?
The numbers there for Connor in last week's game. 14 carries, 136 yards, and a touchdown.
And now that he's playing a Thursday night game short week, you know he spent a lot of time in the training room in the hold tub trying to get his legs back for this game.
And he's going to be stopped up at about the 47-yard line. Only a gain of a couple there. That leaves him needing about 7 here on 3rd down.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter games turn into big.
Looking for Stills here, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 28, and they're going to set up shop at the 27-yard line. Week after week, we're seeing plays like this from him. I think he's in line. We've discussed it before for NFL Defensive Player of the Year.
And a big reason why, I think, is because of his ball skills. And that's something that, for guys of his position, they've talked about it for years. They've done the drills. But they've really increased it in recent seasons because of the offense have gotten so good. He knows how to take the ball away. That is huge for a defender.
That hold coming from the middle of the line, the center.
And it's difficult for him because sometimes you've got people right over you, and as soon as you snap it, trying to get your hands up and block them, you can be a little bit late getting it done.
Mixon with it. And he's got some space here. 19 yards there on the pickup. And it'll be 2nd and about a yard to go for the first. A lot of running backs, a little bit of a disadvantage when you start talking MVP. Might not be the case this year. You think he's got a shot, don't you?
I do. I think he's got more than a shot. But what he's going to need here down the stretch this late in the season, he needs that big closing game, that game that we're all going to reflect on and go, oh, my goodness, did he put up a number, let's say 200 plus?
And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. He had the touchdown on the opening drive. Now he's got a first down.
I got a kick out of that one, partner. You and I talk often about trying to hide receivers in certain situations, but a guy of his size can't really hide him. But the tight end drag route, definitely an effective way to sneak him across the formation.
Alongside Charles Davis, Brandon Gaudin, and it's the Bengals with a football to begin quarter number 2, and they've got it here with a first down. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. Now a play fake here on first down. He gets this one to Boyd. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. Give him 30 yards there. Those are the kinds of plays right there that show you why he's the number 3 man in the NFL in terms of receiving yards.
Also tells you there's a full combination of what he's got going in his game. You name it, from route running to catching the football. That's why he's able to produce those types of numbers.
To the left side here for Eifert. And he'll take it down here just shy of the 15 at the 16-yard line. The completion good for 3, and it's second down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
Now a second down throw for the end zone, but it's incomplete.
Those throwing windows get a lot tighter near the end zone, don't they? And here's the thing. You already probably have 3 points in your hip pocket. You force a throw here and give up an interception, you come away with nothing.
Especially tough in the middle third of the field where he threw that one. And he picks up the first as he's able to take it down to the 7-yard line. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
Well, sometimes our pregame meetings do pay off, don't they? What did the guys in the locker room call him?
Well, they said it with a chuckle. They called him Old Rule. And it's intercepted at the goal line. Picked off by Matthias Farley. And nothing there on the return. They've got the football, but they'll have to start this drive at their own 4-yard line.
Brandon, this is why golfers do their best to never count a score in their head before the ball goes in the cup. This looked like a slam dunk for points on this drive, didn't it? Instead, they throw an interception, and they're going to come away empty.
And not much there as he gets it up to about the 5-yard line. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
That first down play, all you want to do is wedge out any type of space and try and create enough room. If you have to run the punter out there, he can successfully complete the punt.
Yeah, didn't get a ton there, but at least some positive yardage. Connor. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a 3rd down.
Some of these play calls, I think they're a little conservative, but you know me, because it's easy to sit up in this booth, right, and make all the calls and think I'm going to be correct. But I would like to see them open things up, because otherwise this defense is going to gang up on the run and set them down.
And he gets it up to the 10-yard line here. It's a pickup of 6, but it's not going to be enough. And the punt team's going to be summoned on 4th down.
And there's a run to be happy with. Good, solid yardage. He'll take that anytime you hand the ball to a back.
Oh, and now he bowls him over. That'll be a 50-yard punt with 8 on the return. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. The Bengals getting set to go. A tale of 2 extremes already in this game. A touchdown pass on their opening drive followed by an interception last time out.
Now, it sounds like things balance out, right? What's that mythological thing that we do? If you have a candy bar, have a diet soda with it, it balances it out. And we know that's not really true, right? Because the interception, that sting lingers a little bit longer. Got to come out now and put together some nice plays.
Well, that play was doomed right from the start.
They just about ran into every defender on that one, didn't it? It felt like everyone got a piece of that tackle.
And this play will be blown up. He'll lose yardage back at the 38. That'll wind up going for a loss of 4. And they're going to be staring at a 3rd and long here. So time to start going in the other direction as they come up now 3rd and long. Throwing on 3rd and long. Finley airing one out for... And that's caught inside the 30. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. And that one results in 35 yards.
Well, partner, I'm not sure how this drive's going to end, but how about the way they flip field position there? A nice attacking play. They picked up a heck of a chunk of yardage.
On 1st and 10, Finley. He's going to take a shot for the end zone. So they took a shot on 1st down, but couldn't connect. You got a young quarterback. Maybe that's just an example of a growing pain for him.
I think you're right about that, because when the game starts to move fast and it moves quickly on him, a lot of times they fall back on what they know best, their arm. He's slinging it on this one. Had a wide open target, but didn't have the proper footwork to increase his accuracy.
Another throw on 2nd down, and this one incomplete as well.
Well, we're not playing 3 yards in a cloud of dust football anymore. I kind of get why those old school coaches sometimes didn't want to throw the football. Because if it's popped up in the air, it almost turns into slow motion, and both sides trying to get to the football, and you're holding your breath wondering whether it's going to go good.
And he will take it on in for a Bengals touchdown. In for the score, and the Bengals add on to their lead. Now Bullock to add the extra point.
That score was not a game clincher by any stretch of the imagination. But the other team now has to be careful to not let this game begin to slip away.
Extra point up and good by Bullock. And it's now 14-0. Bullock out now to kick this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Out comes the Miami offensive unit now. They get set to take over. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball.
And now a fumble. The ball's out, and the Bengals have recovered it. So the defense there, opportunistic.
It's nice to give them credit, isn't it? Because so many times it's more a matter of what the offensive guy didn't do. Didn't secure the ball, didn't cover up. In this case, let's just give credit to where it belongs. Knocked it free, made a big play.
Gonna throw right side here, complete. And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9. 18 yards there, and it'll be a 1st and goal. Right after the turnover, they come out throwing.
And that means it's a sudden change situation. We used to practice it on defense. Sudden change, get out there, stop the offense. But you typically run out there a little bit unsettled. I think that's why he came right out throwing the football, hoping to catch him off balance.
And he did. And he's going to be brought down just shy of the 5 at the 6. 3 yards is the gain that time, 2nd and goal.
And, partner, I think that was a great example that not all tight ends are created equal. Because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league.
And he'll take this into the end zone for a Bengal TD. A great effort there. A 6-yard touchdown run. And the Bengals are able to grow their lead. And partner Emmitt Smith now moves to number 2. His record of 165 career rushing touchdowns has been broken. What else can you say but wow?
I have no other words but wow, because Emmitt Smith set the standard. A guy that always found his way into the end zone. That record has now been eclipsed. The only thing our new record holder has to worry about, will Emmitt come back and try and get his record back?
Cousins on 1st down. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 28, and his guys are going to get the football at the 28-yard line. He's continuing to be a big presence defensively. Remember last week, AFC Defensive Player of the Week, and a big pick right there.
And when you pile up big numbers, it gets everyone's attention. But sometimes the number just needs to be, how many game-changing plays did you make? Did you take the ball away from the other team? He just did that, trying to win the award again this week.
That one good for 15, and the Bengals get a 1st down. We should mention, to go along with a great game he had last week, he was rightfully named AFC Offensive Player of the Week.
And he shares that with his offensive line, the tight end, his fullback. He's looking for more and more of that in this game.
That's going to be caught at the 10-yard line. And he's going to be brought down just shy of the 5 at the 6. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. 2 minutes to play here in the first half. We'll come back to Miami after this. Coming up at the half, a reminder, we go back to Orlando to check in with Jonathan Coachman. He'll have a look back at our first half as well as a look ahead to what's coming up later this weekend. And his throw here's incomplete. Tyler Boyd, the former Pitt Panther, was the target. And it's 3rd and short.
This goes to the goal line. You got to be very careful with the offense calls rub routes. When I call a pick trying to screen you off from your coverage, does a nice job of avoiding that and helping force an incompletion.
Looking for Boyd, and he's got him. Touchdown, Bengals. Tyler Boyd with another touchdown, number 24 on the year. And the Bengals add on to their lead. And, man, Charles, talk about zinging something in there. Those gloves, they help with one-handed catches, the fun stuff. Any padding for a rocket like that?
One would think so, but I'll guarantee you this. After that throw, his hands will hurt later. Not right now in the moment. He's just feeling good about catching.
They had to go to the monitor, get an extra look. That's what the technology is for, and this touchdown will count. Bullock good on the extra point, and a rout is on here in this first half. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. And out come the Dolphins now. Typically down in the first half, I might say, oh, you at least need a field goal out of this drive, but they're down to the point where they need a touchdown, don't they?
Yeah, normally, you know me. You've been around me for a while now, right?
Unfortunately.
I'm sorry about that. But normally, I'm the one preaching patience.
Yeah.
You know, take your time. First half, you still got a chance. I think they're out of patience here. This has to be a drive that gets a touchdown. So if you're the play caller, you're going to that portion of the sheet that says big-time plays, specials, anything you can use to get yourself back into it.
And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. Give him 3 on the play, and they're going to have a third down. From the shotgun, it's Cousins. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. And now the Bengal defense here calling a timeout as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. Here's Matt Hawk now as he's on to punt for Cincinnati. Ross on the return. So possession goes over here on the punt. And the Bengals will take over here 1st and 10. Here comes the field general leading his offense back out there for the next possession. He does have the 1 interception, Charles, but I think that's been more than offset by the 3 first-half touchdown passes.
I would agree with you. There is a blemish, but when you've thrown 3 touchdown passes to try and erase it, that's a little bit better than the ratio that all NFL coaches are seeking from their quarterbacks, and he's giving it to them.
They'll take the 3-1?
Every single time. I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker. And what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
Oh, there's that man again. It's complete. And he's brought down after a very nice gain. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense, as the clock will stop with 37 seconds to play in this first half. Mixon. And he's going to be taken down with a marker on the field. So let's see about the call.
Illegal block in the back. Offense. Still first down.
Now Mixon. Look at the spin.
Balance.
And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. That one good for 15, and the Bengals get a first down.
The reason that counter or misdirection plays work so well is that usually you've given them a reason to think that everything's going to the direction that starts initially. You've run that type of a play throughout the game. You've given them that look. And now you're going to counter things and bring it back the other way. Almost a tendency breaker at times. And a lot of it is making sure that you have an illusion, almost like a magician. Look over here, but the play is actually happening over there, and that's where running back's vision comes into play. See the hole in a place where people don't expect and get there with some speed. And that's exactly what he did on that play.
A final shot before break. Finley trying to lay one up deep. That's going to be caught by Ross for a Bengal touchdown. As his guys are in for 6, and the Bengals just continue to pour it on. And just before the half ends, the prayer is answered. Defensively, a disaster there.
I know often we're surprised when this actually...
All right, hang on. We'll jump over halftime. So we have reached halftime here, and it's the visiting Bengals out in front. Returning it, John Ross. And a very nice return up to the 35, but was it aided by something illegal? Let's find out.
Holding. Receiving team.
So holding will scratch off some of that return.
And I know fans get frustrated when they see penalties of this sort on kick returns, but it is difficult to do it right against these moving targets at full speed. Hard to do.
No. Check. Patriot.
Now they run with Mixon. And he's brought down, getting this one up to about the 35. The drive starting with a first down, 11 yards on that pickup.
Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral, also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
And the hole closes quickly. He gets it across the 35 to the 36-yard line.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
Looking to throw on second down. Finley. And this is going to be caught. He won the fight for the football. A really nice gain of 25 yards. And with that last play, he's now up over that 300-yard mark.
And in today's NFL, it almost feels routine. And I hate that when you talk about a 300-yard passing game. To me, 300 yards still signifies excellence, and he's achieved that in this performance.
And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. Another nice gain, 16 yards there and a first down again.
They're making it look easy out there. Another first down. So far on this drive, let me do this little bit of math here. 4 plays, 3 first downs.
That's a pretty good recipe for success.
Watch him now, Barney.
On first down, Finley letting one go deep for the end zone and nearly picked it off. He had a chance to come down with that in the end zone, but it'll wind up just being incomplete.
Not only did they drop what looked like an interception in the end zone, they blew a golden opportunity to shift the momentum.
Over!
Throwing again on 2nd and 10. Finley. This throw caught right around the 6. He was over 100 receiving last week. He's over 100 now this week, as he's got a first down as well. Whatever the discussions were at halftime to try to slow down this offense, it has not worked to this point.
Yeah, I have a vision right now of everything that was discussed at the half just being torn in shreds or being erased off of the Microsoft Surface tablets because...
And he will take it on in for a Bengals touchdown. A great play there. His 2nd touchdown of the night. And the Bengals have got it on cruise control. And he certainly played a pivotal role with those 2 TDs and why they're up on the scoreboard right now.
Well, someone's all about winning, aren't they? Because he's not worried about the number. Sure, it's great to have 2 touchdowns. But the bottom line is what he's doing is contributing to their lead. He wants to continue to do so.
And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. So the Dolphins offense heading out as we give you a look at the playoff race in the AFC. And it's right about this time of year you start to say this is when the cream rises to the top. Week 15, 3 weeks left to go, but still plenty to be determined.
And I think for most teams, the obvious is to try and be the number 1 or number 2 seed. But when you look at it across the league and throughout the history of trying to get to the Super Bowl, the teams you really fear are the ones that get hot and sometimes sneak in at a 5 or a 6 seed because we've seen those teams actually get to the Super Bowl and occasionally win it.
Yeah, you think of the Giants a couple of times. Steelers have done it. You're right. It has happened and will happen more in the future, I'm sure. The last play got just a yard. Here's 2nd and 9 from the 26. They stay on the ground. Here's Connor again. And he'll get this one up to the 26. Just a gain of a yard there. Now it'll be 3rd down. Nice job there on the tackle. Keep him to the short gain. And, of course, he got some good news this week. He was named AFC Defensive Player of the Week from last week's effort.
And part of the reason he got that award, because of plays like that. Not every play is spectacular. Not every play is for a loss. Make the play.
And for a 3rd time tonight, he's intercepted. Picked off near the 34. And he is going to bring this back inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. And that gives him now 3 interceptions in the game.
Well, someone's locked into what they're trying to get done in the passing game. When was the last time we had someone get 3 in a contest?
2011, wasn't it, Kurt Coleman?
Oh, yeah, that's
then
right.
With the Eagles.
That's right. He's then with the Eagles, and I believe it's against Washington and Rex Grossman.
That's correct. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
On second down, here's Mixon. And for one of the first times tonight, he's going to be held up at the line of scrimmage. He got maybe a half yard at most, but officially they'll be left with a 3rd and 2.
Sometimes play calls boil down to philosophy. You know you're facing one of the top 10 units against the run in the NFL. So do you decide to keep smashing against them, or do you decide to throw the ball here?
A 5-yard loss there is going to bring up 4th down.
So, Brandon, when this offense gathers together to watch tape for this game, they're going to be feeling pretty good about themselves until the coaches get upset about the play we just saw. But you know their defense is going to be. But we put up big points all game long. The defense is going to win one every now and then.
And that is going to be incomplete. Boy, it looked like he had it and dropped it. And the Dolphins' defense is able to hold. So a tough pill to swallow there. A would-be touchdown pass in and out of his hands on 4th.
Sometimes it just comes down to execution, doesn't it? Because we're always questioning, should they go for it, should they not? Is it the right play call? Is it not? And this...
Now the hit comes, and Cousins lost the football. And it won't be a pick 6, but he will have his guys set up at the 2-yard line.
With no running backs in the backfield to help pass protect, all the receivers in their patterns, these are going to be hot routes. If they sense a blitz or pressure on the quarterback, they've got to be prepared to break routes off early and get the football. In this case, never even had a chance. They popped the ball free.
And he takes it into the end zone. Touchdown, Bengals. A great effort there. Taking it in from 2 yards out. And the Bengals use the short field to their advantage as they cash in for 6. Extra point up and good by Bullock. And that will extend this big lead. Bullock out now to kick this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. The Dolphins offense now heads back on the field. And last time, not only the turnover, but that turned into 6 points. They got to make up for that here.
We always hear about empty possessions, but some are worse than others. You can have an empty possession, punt the ball away, get yourself set to play defense, but when you turn it over, it changes momentum, and when they take it downfield and punch it in on you, that's a bad possession all the way around.
Yeah, but you're hungry to get back out there, aren't you?
You better be, because otherwise it's going to be a long day for you.
Play fake. Cousins. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a 3rd down. He's been quiet today in the passing game, just his 2nd catch.
Yeah, and people have to come up with schemes to limit him. And what a lot of teams do, they'll double him, use a linebacker underneath, a safety over the top. Sometimes they'll just take a corner, maybe their 3rd corner if he's a bigger guy, and put him on a man-to-man to try and limit his touches. Just keep mixing it up, give him different angles, different looks, like a good boxer does.
17 yards for the Dolphins there as they've got themselves a 1st down. Now it's Connor, and he got blown up. Losing yardage on the play back at the 44. It's a loss of 4 there, bringing up 2nd down.
I think it's pretty evident we can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they've stopped him cold. That, to me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and they stopped him behind the line right there. They obviously watched the tape a few times and made some adjustments. And a minimal gain here as he's up to about the 47-yard line. It was Jordan Evans making the play defensively.
Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
Now Cousins, and it's caught by Parker. The Dolphin passing game rolling here. They've got another first down.
When you're a player of his stature, you don't just circle the games on your team's calendar. You
circle the Pro Bowl?
Without a doubt. That's a game that you just figure you're going to be in each and every year. That's because of catches like that. That's why he goes.
Here's Counter. And tough sledding. He'll get maybe a yard. Stop short of the 35.
Well, they certainly have been able to get him going and establish the run, so I think it's time to abandon that plan and start chucking it all over the park. And you know who's excited about that? The defensive front. They got a chance to pin their ears back and get after him now.
And they'll go on the ground. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. Deron Payne, the big D tackle there to make the stop.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat.
And for the fourth time tonight, it's an interception. Picked off at the 30. Thought they had something going there to break that goose egg here in the second half, but to no avail.
Hope was alive until that interception. What a terrific play, taking the ball away after it looked like they were starting a drive.
And now that shutout still standing. You know that's something those defensive guys hold a lot of pride on, too.
No doubt about it. They are excited about where they are in this game.
Back now in Miami.
Detroit! Detroit! No, check, Patriot!
They'll stay on the ground, mixing again. So quick on the spin.
He's spinning, man.
And he only manages a couple here down to about the 38-yard line. Charles, you said earlier this defense is probably going to need to hold these guys right around 20 or under that if they were going to have a chance. It was evident pretty early on that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, they left 20 behind a long time ago in this game, didn't they? It looks like they're headed towards a big, big number. But 20 was the threshold because that kept them in the ball game and kept the pressure off of their own offense.
They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a first and goal. They'll try and run for it with Henry. And he's maybe going to get this back to the 4, but that's about all. No gain on the play that time, and it sets up second and goal. Boy, that's a lot of sirloin steak to be taken down for no gain, partner.
Are you trying to suggest that he is a huge man?
He is nowhere to go here. He lost the football. But I think a Bengal player was able to get in there. He was. And they'll keep possession of the football.
On plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back. Because this is the quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, the teammate is able to come up with the ball.
Now on third and long, they'll look to throw. Got his man, it's Eifert. And he'll go down here at the 12-yard line. They're able to hold him to 3 there, and that leads to a 4th and goal.
Whether you're playing West Coast offense or not, one of the maxims of the West Coast offense is you're either throwing a touchdown or a check down. In other words, look for the big shot, but be smart. And I think they did exactly that on that play. They didn't get the first down, but they're taking care of the ball well.
Yeah, and being rightly cautious with that lead here in the second half. So it's 3 more points, and that widens this thing out even further here in the 4th.
And you know in this league, you can never have enough points, but this widens it out, as you said, and now it's all about ball control, isn't it?
The Dolphins getting set to go here. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the inning, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right?
And he'll be taken down by the Bengal pressure. Joey Bosa in there to get him. Sack number 14 for him on the year.
We've been around this league for a while, and many coaches never pull their starting quarterback, almost no matter the situation. In this case, though, I think he's got to make a decision. He's taking a pretty good beating out there.
Yeah, and with the deficit, maybe not wanting to risk an injury. It goes as a loss of 6. And now 3rd down. Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after 1st and 2nd down went backwards. It's 3rd and very long. Working out of the gun, Cousins. And now here's another interception. Picked off at the 14. And he's going to be brought down by the face mask. Here come the flags. This is going to get him a 1st down.
Face mask. Defense.
They're down here in the 4th, and that personal foul penalty is not going to help.
No, in these types of situations, players will tell you that's extra intensity. From where we sit, it's actually frustration. Not a good play.
Back to throw. Finley. Flushed out right. And that is caught. He's got it for a Bengal touchdown. In for the score. And the Bengals use the short field to their advantage as they cash in for 6. So another score there. Often you talk about the 3 phases of the game. Defense, offense, special teams. It's been a clean sweep in this one, hasn't it?
It certainly has. They've been pretty dominant throughout this game. And privately, the head coach will add a 4th phase. That's the coaching. And he'll tell the ownership that as he tries to negotiate a new contract off of this win.
They are looking strong here in the 4th quarter. Solid return. Pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32-yard line. The Dolphins offense now working their way back onto the field. They're sort of seeing themselves spiral out of control. Let's see if they can get things back on track.
And this is where the coach is walking out.
Now the hit comes, and Cousins lost the football. But call it luck or skill, whatever the case is, they're feeling good about just keeping the football there.
Yeah, the biggest thing that they're calling it now, our ball. I mean, they don't care if it was luck or skill. Boy, the panic that jumps up in your chest when that ball's on the ground, whether you get it or your teammate gets it, just as long as you maintain possession, that's all you're looking for.
A good pickup there, 13 yards as they get closer for 3rd down.
His position, and he's listed as a tight end, but he certainly doesn't run like one, and that's what we're seeing more and more coming into the league. Those guys who can run, make plays after the catch, and gain that additional yardage.
And using that speed there to turn it into a pretty nice little gain. And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. A good pickup there, 7 yards, but it brings up 4th down. And that looked like some pretty easy yardage there right up the gut.
And he's a guy that has some height to him, so when you don't have to drop a shoulder or create or get through contact or trash, makes it a lot easier to stay upright, see the field, and make a run as we just saw there.
Leopard! Over!
Here's Joe Mixon as they start on the ground. Oh, a nice spin. And now past another. Through an opening, and there he goes. And all the way in for a Cincinnati score. A big play there. An 80-yard touchdown. And the Bengals just continue to pour it on. And that rushing touchdown, his 4th, puts him just 1 shy of the NFL record in a single game.
And we all know he would love to get to that record and even beyond it, but he doesn't need to in order to impress in this one, does he? What a performance. What an absolute great game that he's had here in this one.
This is taken at his 4. And he'll take this one near the 25, call it the 26-yard line. Out comes the Dolphin offense now as they get set to take over here. And down on the scoreboard, certainly needing to avoid what happened on the last drive, punting the football.
Sense of urgency has to take over for them here. They know the score. They know the situation. And by the way, the punter no longer exists for their offense. That's how they have to treat this drive.
They need points.
Big time.
Another wayward pass. You know, things started out poorly in this game, and to be frank, they just really haven't gotten much better.
And all that does is embolden the secondary. They feel good about what's going on, and they just play better and better.
It's a gain of 5, and all of a sudden here, it's 3rd down. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means they have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
And he gets this up to the 34 out of bounds there. Call it a 3-yard gain, and that's going to bring up a 4th down.
So much about offense is what you call hidden yardage. You know, you throw the ball to someone, they catch it, and then they can make a big play. You know, they create a play, run after catch. They did a really nice job there of limiting that and keeping him from a 1st down.
Now stopped him in his tracks.
Watch it now.
Mixon gets the nod to start the drive. And he'll take it ahead to the 28-yard line. 8 yards on the pickup, and now they'll have some options on 2nd and short.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
Dumps it off to Mixon. 9 yards on the pickup there, and it keeps the drive alive.
Looked like the defense put pretty good pressure on him, but he's able to flush out to his right to try and evade people. On the run, had to get on his horse. Still accurately throws a nice pass for a 1st down.
And not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. Derrick Henry. And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36. It'll be a loss of 1, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11. They'll run it again with Henry. Shreds the tackle. And he'll get this up to about the 38-yard line. Time for a break. Back to finish it off on EA Sports after this. So the Bengals in possession of the football here as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. To throw on 3rd down. Finley. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 35. And they will finally stop him as he's down to the 40-yard line. Now they get a 4th quarter pick. A little something to hang their hat on, I guess.
Okay, so let's face it, though. Who's happy about this play? Fantasy guys, right?
Yeah.
The analytics will tell you one thing or another. That's a bad play on one hand, a good play on the other. But it's all about the fantasy points here.
Yeah, because this ball game is over. And throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete.
The beauty of being able to play a zone defense when you can sit back and see the ball coming out of the quarterback's hands, guess what? Creates a lot of confusion, kind of a muddle in the middle of the field where you can go make a play on the football.
Wide open receiver complete. And they move this all the way down to the 9. That goes for a gain of 30. The chain gang hustling to catch up. Here's 1st and goal from just inside the 10. They go play action here on 1st down. This will be caught at about the 5. And he'll be brought down here at the 3-yard line. That's good for a gain of 6, 2nd and goal.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong arm guy.
And this is going to be intercepted. Able to get there and pick it. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. Charles, whatever's going on between his ears right now, it's just not completely calculated correctly. 7 picks between last week and this week after that one.
And they always say the most important part of a player is those 6 inches between the ears. But right now, it's all those interceptions that are going on. So whoever his trusted confidant is on the sidelines, I don't know if it's the offensive coordinator, the quarterback's coach, maybe the backup quarterback, that's who he needs to get with now and get himself calm.
From the 22, here's 2nd and 8. Again, it's Mixon. They'll get 14 on that one. Good for a Bengal first down.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the 4th as it was way back in the 1st, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
He's going to fire one deep over them. It's caught inside the 25. And they're going to get this all the way inside the Miami 15. A big play there for Cincinnati. 51 yards.
And they just had another big completion there. And I think in days gone by in the NFL, you might have asked, is this a little bit of overkill? Is this rubbing it in? I don't think people feel the same way nowadays.
The age-old argument, then you could say on the other. And he's taken to the ground, but he was pulled down by the face mask. Here come the flags. And I believe this is going to be a first down.
Personal foul, face mask, defense.
Well, we looked at each other right away. We knew that flag was coming out.
And I always enjoy the conversation post, because officials always tell you, I don't want to throw the flag, but you caused the play. You did it. I had to.
The Bengals going to use the 2nd of their timeouts. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play. So the offensive unit called the TO, and now we are ready to resume play. And now it's 1st and 10. A big mistake, especially when you factor in the personal foul yardage. That one looks like he'll throw here. And this will be caught. And the carnage continues. It's another touchdown. And for them, this train, it just keeps rolling, doesn't it? Well on their way to yet another victory.
Yeah, it's almost a runaway, isn't it? And you just wonder how anyone could stop this. They got full momentum going, full confidence going. But it's not just their own confidence that is leading them. It's the lack of confidence against their opponents now, because they see them coming and think, we've got no shot to beat this team.
Oh, boy, rubbing a little salt in the wound there, going for 2 up this big.
You know, there's one time when I played, Brandon, and played against a team that was just absolutely pile driving us, and they ended up going for 2 late in the game. And I asked one of the guys, why'd you do that? He said, because we wanted to win by more. That feels like that type of situation.
Wow. Well, it could also result in a melee later, though. One last shot now for Cousins. And that will be incomplete as time has run out on this football game. So, Charles, are able to complete what so often seems to be elusive, a shutout in the NFL. And maybe what's fitting is they ended the game on the field, that defensive unit on the field. What an exclamation mark.
And probably felt like they could go another 60 minutes without anyone putting points on the board against them. That's the confidence you gain throughout when you're pitching a shutout. And they're going to leave the stadium feeling like they're all 10 feet tall.
So for Cincinnati, they move ever closer to the perfect regular season as they run things to 14-0. And now they'll get the weekend off as they get a little extra time to prepare to face the Buffalo Bills. Meanwhile, for Miami, they've plummeted now to 3-11. And they'll have a tough one at home next week against the Denver Broncos. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Alongside Charles Davis, we thank our entire crew. I'm Brandon Gaudin. This is the NFL on EA Sports.
Scouting points are earned every week. Use all your points, as a portion of the remaining points will be lost when you advance the week.
You